Hey guys, it's David with Cars and Code. This is a continuation of previous videos, so if you haven't seen those, please click the link below and watch those before you watch this. Otherwise you won't really understand what's going on. So in this video, we're going to take our circle that we've drawn on the screen and we're going to make it look like an actual friction circle instead of just a circle. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take the circle that we've drawn on the screen right now and we're not going to fill it in. And the way we're going to do that is we're going to do paint.isStroke, and we're going to enable that. So what that's going to do is instead of filling things in, it's going to just do a stroke. So if we run this application now, we'll be able to see that it's just a circle. So we can see we have a small circle that's going around the whole thing and it's not filled in. Perfect. So next thing we're going to do is we're going to make that look a little nicer and make it a little bigger. So we're going to create some constant variables here so we can change sizes if we need to. So let's create a private const int the circle stroke width. And we're going to set this to 3. The next thing we're going to do is make sure that our application is scaled for devices correctly. So we're going to do that by creating a new variable called scaling. So this is going to be this amount that we need to scale based on a device. And the way we're going to calculate this is based on the number of pixels divided by the Xamarin Forms density independent pixels. So we can just do that by taking the actual amount of pixels that Skia Sharp has and divide it by the actual Xamarin Forms size of the width. So this is now going to be a ratio, so we have this density independent stuff and we can scale everything correctly. So now what we're going to do is create a new helper method. We'll do a private float, scale float we'll call it, and we pass in a float and we're going to just return that value times our scaling. So whenever we need to scale a number, we can just use that. So the next thing we're going to do is come over and actually use that. So we're going to say the paint.stroke width is going to be the scale float times our circle stroke width. And once we do that and run it, our circle is going to look a lot nicer. So now we can see it's a nice solid black circle. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to want to draw 3 circles. We're going to draw one circle for 1.5 Gs, one for 1 G, and one for 0.5 Gs. So we're just going to take this and paste 2 more lines of it, and then we're going to adjust the radius based on which one it is. So the first one is going to be the full radius. The next one is just going to be 2/3. So we're going to take 2.0 f times the radius and take the whole thing divided by 3.0 f. So that's going to give us 2/3 times the radius, and the last one we're just going to take the radius divided by 3.0. So now that's just going to be drawing 3 circles each inside of each other, equally spaced. So there we go. We've got an inner circle, a middle circle, and an outer circle. So the inner circle we're going to label 0.5 Gs, the middle circle we're going to label 1 G, and the top one we're going to label 1.5 Gs. So in order to do that, we're going to have to start drawing some text on the screen. So let's do that after we go here. And let's create some private variables for the actual text that we're going to write. So I'm going to do a private const string. We'll call this one the outer text. We're going to assign this to be 1.5 G, and then we're going to have inner text, and we'll call it center text. So this one will say center text is going to be 1.0 G, and we'll have inner text, which is going to be 0.5 G. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to create some variables for how big we want that to be, the stroke and the text size. So we're going to create a private const int called the text stroke width, and we're going to assign that to be 1. And then we're going to create the text size, which we're going to assign as 20. So then we're going to come down here and we're going to actually do this stuff. So the first thing is we have to change the paint so we're using the right values. So paint.stroke_width is going to be, again, using the scale float method, the text stroke width. We're also going to tell it's not a stroke anymore because we want our letters filled in. So we're going to do paint.isStroke equals false. And last, we're going to set the text size. So paint.textSize is going to be the scale float of 20. So now we've got our paint set up. We need to actually find out where on the screen to draw this paint. So the first thing we need to do is find the text width, the width of every text, so we know how wide it is, so we can center it in the screen. So we're going to do that by creating this variable called text width, and we're going to do a method called paint.measureText. And this is going to give us the width of the specified text, in this case our 1.5G. The next thing we're going to do is actually just create a variable for the text X position and the text Y position. So the X is going to be in the center of the screen, so we're going to do the surface width divided by 2, but then we have to subtract half of the text width as well to get it in the center. Now for the text Y, we're going to do the surface height divided by 2, so this is going to give us in the center of the screen, and then we're going to have to subtract the radius. So this is going to give us right at the top of the outer circle. So the last thing we're going to have to do is put it just below that. So we're going to add just a little buffer. We'll do scale float of 20. So we'll add 20 units down below there to draw the text. Then finally, we're just going to actually draw this text. So canvas.drawText. We're going to draw the outer text. And we're going to add text X, text Y, and then we're going to use this paint. So if we run this now, we'll be able to see that text show up. There we go. So we got 1.5G written at the top. So now we just have to add 1.0 G's here and 0.5G here. So that should be relatively simple. We're just going to have to recalculate a couple of values. So first we have to get the new text width, and that's just, again, be the paint.measureText, except this time instead of outer text, it's going to be the center text. Next, we need to recalculate the text X, so we'll say text X equals the surface width divided by 2 minus text width divided by 2, just like before. The text Y is just going to be 1/3 radius lower, so it's going to be text Y equals text Y plus radius over 3.0f. And the reason it's plus is because 0 Y is at the top and the high Y is at the bottom, so you have to add to get it to go lower. And then we're just going to draw the text again. So canvas.drawText, and we're going to draw center text at text X, text Y with this paint. So that's going to be the center text, and while we're at it, we may as well do the bottom text using a pretty similar method. So now we should have a pretty good looking friction circle with 3 circles, each labeled with how many G's they represent. And there you go. So now we got a pretty good looking friction circle. So this is going to be the end of the 3rd video. In the next video, we're going to actually start drawing a dot on the friction circle to show the current G's of the car. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next video.